Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Oh my gosh, is that ever good? Look, just down in there. Not my first sips, but I'll tell you, it is delicious to be sure. Yeah, Well, guys, I'll tell you what. There are a lot of big deals going on right now behind the scenes that are going to really change the way the wide world works. And for XRP, stupendous. Guys, we all know about Ripple going out and acquiring Hidden Road. Well, Hidden Road, of course, as a clearinghouse, guys, they already do hundreds of millions of dollars worth of clearing. But what they've got planned for Hidden Road with, clearing a lot of the stablecoin transactions and how much of a massive impact this is going to be wild. Most of the clearing happens, guys, through Depository Trust and Clearing Corp. Now, for those folks that are not in the investment world, you may have never even heard of the DTCC. But the Depository Trust and Clearing Corp, for those who actually do know, they put through something like multiple trillions of dollars of transactions a day they clear, and quadrillions in a 1 year period. Well, I'm reading articles right now of how Ripple is trying to get in there and take a bite out of that apple of the DTCC and utilizing it in RLUSD and, of course, XRP and how the ledger works. And when you're talking about this kind of action, this kind of activity, they're talking about literally into the trillions of dollars. And I'm going to put the link to the article right down in here so you can read it for yourself, where you can see how they're going to link it up and why it's going to benefit XRP. But guys, it is going to be amazing, the future that we're going into, and how all of these financial rails are absolutely being developed and, are getting upgraded and, of course, evolving to handle what's coming. These big players like Larry Fink and, of course, Jamie Dimon and all these major banking houses around the wide world, they are out there right now and they are pushing this whole tokenization envelope of real world assets. And when you're talking about that, you're going to still have to clear transactions through various funnels. Now, it will happen a whole lot more instantly. I mean, the DTC themselves have already set up an infrastructure so that they will utilize distributed ledger technology to bring that settlement into instantaneous settlement in the wide world. That is going to be big, big, big. And when we watch it happen, I'm going to tell you what. For where we are in terms of history and the change that is genuinely coming, and we know that it is because, we can see the infrastructure. Most people, I think, are really underestimating how massive this is going to impact their lives in a powerful way with absolutely everything that you do. I kid you not. The way you pay your bills, the way you own property, how you store your actual, identity in terms of like your health and your education information and all this kind of stuff. It's all going to be tokenized. It's all going on the blockchain, if you will. And it is going to happen really, really quick. The infrastructure is there, guys. They are just actually getting all the regulatory pieces in place. And when the Clarity Act comes and you get all this stuff laid down, it is going to be so monumental that is going to literally change everything that you and I do. And when you consider clearing transactions and the trillions of dollars that's going to involve, it will definitely, in my mind anyway, and a lot of other people are thinking this as well. So this is my 100% biased opinion, but I believe it's going to send XRP well into the 3 digits. I really believe it. Absolutely, for sure. Now, we may face some volatility before it gets there as it goes up and then maybe comes back down and then all that kind of stuff. But once all the blocks are in place, it's done. This opportunity that you and I have right now, it is not going to be sitting here staring us in the face for the rest of our lives. I don't believe that. This is a very short window of opportunity. And what blows my ever-loving mind is just how few people are actually able to see that and are going to probably have some sort of impact by it. So few people around the wide world are even clued in to some of the biggest changes that are happening right in front of their face. And you really can't, these guys, yes, they've talked their book for a long time, Larry Fink and all these guys. But right now, they are out there absolutely shouting it from the housetops of what they intend on doing. I mean, that interview with Larry Fink on CNBC where he was saying, we're talking about the tokenization of everything, real estate, debt, you name it, tokenizing ETFs and on and on and on. And you watched all of these various infrastructure changes taking place. And yet the absolute masses of people out there are not even aware. They're actually being led to believe that crypto is something to be terrified of, thanks to Elizabeth Warren and crew. But it wouldn't surprise me not one iota if Elizabeth Warren or somebody close to her some way, somehow, is not heavily, and I mean heavily invested in this space. It would not surprise me one iota if we found something like that out. Because this is how these guys work, right? They just try to, scare people out of it, keep them away from it, while they just absolutely set it all up for themselves for generations, guys. And do you think that this is anything new? No, it isn't. It is not new. These major banking families that have been around since the 1800s, 1880s and all that, JP Morgan and all his crew and all these other major families, do you think that they have lost their grip on power? That what happened there on Jekyll Island in 1913? I mean, come on, we know very well that this has been a plan, and they have had their hands literally pulling all of these strings. And I'm telling you what, they are not going to literally let these strings go. This whole thing where people have said, well, how Bitcoin came out, it was supposed to be so decentralized. Are you kidding me? As far as I'm concerned, that narrative is a bunch of hooey. Bitcoin was literally developed by the powers that be, in my estimation, and we have evidence to show that it was, and I think it could end up being the biggest rug pull the world has ever seen. Now, of course, they got this whole store of value deal with Bitcoin, but the utility of XRP, XLM, Hedera Hashgraph, and other assets like that, that's what the infrastructure is being laid on, isn't it? It's being built right on it. You can see it right before your very eyes. And this is going to absolutely change so much. And that's why I say, do not get shaken out. When in doubt, you zoom out. You take a little broader picture. You look at the infrastructure of the wide world. Look at who is behind doing all the stuff that we're seeing. You think the International Monetary Fund and the Bank of International Settlements, the World Bank, the Federal Reserve, and all these other central banks are literally involved in putting down all of these rails and spending trillions of dollars to do that without ever having the intention of using it? Come on, guys. You got more on the ball than that, don't you? Yep, you do. And I think that what we're going to see probably within the next 12 to 18 months is a major shift, because that's when the clarity's coming in, guys. That's when all the regulatory clarity, all the legislation, all the legalese, all those blocks are going to be in place. The actual infrastructure itself, well, it's already here. It is already here. And look, you are going to witness it right before your very eyes, and you're going to think back to these moments, and you're going to say to yourself, I heard about it. Why didn't I do this? Or why didn't I do that? On and on, or I should have did more than what I did. How many of us, look, have been were exposed early on, to Bitcoin? I know I was. Heck, I knew about it from practically day one, because I was a special enforcement officer working in the underground economy up there for the government. And I knew about it because, because it came out in 2009. And by 2010, early days, a lot of these guys that are in the underground economy, they were using it as a means of consideration because they believed that it was an untraceable form of currency, which now we know probably one of the most traceable that was ever made. But that's what they thought. And, you didn't have exchanges, right? You'd have all these guys, you'll be mining it, and then they'd use internet relay chat and, PayPal and all these other things, getting paper wallets and all that. But they developed an economy for it, guys. They did. And then early on, some exchanges started popping up and things like that. But, how many of us knew that something was going down with Bitcoin And, because of our ignorance, our stupidity, our bias, we turned our nose up on it, missed out on probably the greatest, one of the biggest deals that the world has ever seen. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not missing out on this one. And I don't want you to miss out on it either, guys. And I would just recommend you go read these articles that I throw down in here. And you start digging. And after you've done that, peel back that onion and get deeper and deeper and deeper. And do what Judy and I did and research it, because I'm going to tell you something. It's going to open your eyes in such a powerful way. You are going to be blown away. You're going to think, how in the world did I not see this before? Well, it's because, guys, they want to keep you in the dark. That's why, plain and simple. They want to make it, they're as quiet as they can while they're, setting it all up. And then they're as loud as they possibly can be when they're ready to launch it all off. That's how they usually are, guys. So get ready. I think we're in for an amazing, amazing ride, to be sure. And guys, it is going to be you can't deny it. You can't deny it. I mean, I could say it 1,000 ways from Sunday, but you can't deny, in my mind, what's coming. And it is my biased opinion. I gotta say that, guys, because you know that somebody out there is gonna come along and they're gonna say, "Oh, well, he said this and he said that." No, it is my biased opinion, to be sure. But you have to ask yourself this: why do I have it? Well, because, guys, I've peeled back the onion and I've done the same thing I'm asking you to do. Get out and do the research. So, guys, I'll tell you what. Until later on today, have a fabulous one and take care.